Well, here I am again at POP Prosthetics. My leg is ready for delivery. They tried it on me. It was a little bit too long, so they're going back to readjust it. The socket looks great, and I'll be wearing it here in a little bit, taking my first steps with the complete leg. Last month, I was using a temporary test socket. Today I've got my actual socket. The gentleman who made it did a very great job on it. I have representatives from the company who made the leg here. I'm the first one in Nevada to get this kind of leg, and they want to make sure that I get everything I need to know. Yeah, this is not a mirror image, so it looks like I'm doing pretty good with this. And then I will be having my son Jason videotape me in my walker when I walk into the Aliante Golf Club lounge later this afternoon. One great thing about this is that the socket feels a lot better than the test socket did. It was hitting the inside of my thigh and my pelvis, what they refer to as the bicycle bone, and it could get quite painful if I was on it for any length of time. But the lip now is a softer plastic, and it's a little bit lower, so it's not really pressing into that bone, and it feels pretty good. And I think it will do well for if I'm having to wear it for hours and walk quite a bit with it.
It's a prick. Everybody loves a prick. That's used to sure. Yeah.
I don't want to overcrowd the room.
All right. I don't think he minds.
Nope, not at all. In fact, Chelo, there she is. Oop.
Couple more straps, maybe.
Yeah, let's go with 18.
Cut that. Or did you cut it? It looks like it's cut.
All right. Now you want me to press down if I was actually standing up, right?
So let me do something first. So go ahead and lift your leg up off the floor.
Okay.
Push against my hand. Push. That's what I want you to do when you get out of the chair.
Okay.
So when you get your weight forward and you're getting your nose over your toes, you're driving that femur, that thigh, into the back of the socket. That pushes weight through the knee and through the foot. So the knee needs to recognize. Can you pull up your Ossur Power? The knee needs to recognize load, like you're putting load through the knee, and then a change of 10 degrees, and then the motor fires.
Okay.
Okay? So go ahead and log in or connect to the knee again.
I think I got the right apps down with my phone.
I hit my head on that so many times, but I'm not.
Do we want to run initial?
Not right now. We'll do is dynamic. Go to settings. Actually, no, leave it on that page. Bring it over here. So if you look at the bottom activity, it says sitting hibernate. Because you're sitting and the knee is hibernating, it's not using any battery. Now what I want you to do is, like you're going to get out of the chair, but don't stand up. Go ahead and lean forward and push your femur into the back of the socket. Push your foot against the floor. And see if you can get that to change, just like that, sitting. So you change from sitting, hibernate to sitting. That's how much, go ahead and relax. Let it go back into hibernate. Okay? Now with just your femur, scoot forward in the chair a little bit more. If you're pushing into the back of the socket and you're pushing into the chair.
So you want me to move back or move up?
You scoot forward out of the chair.
Forward. Okay.
There you go. That way. Good.
Okay.
So now, when you go to push back in the socket, you're not fighting against the chair. Gotcha. So go ahead and push your femur into the back of the socket. Push against my hand. Yep. Push. There you go. It switched from hibernating to sitting.
Okay.
That's all the load the knee is looking for. And now all you have to do is get out of the chair like an inch or two to 10 degrees, and the motor activates. You can use your hands.
Whoa!
This
Strap.
Make sure you're all the way in there. Go ahead and mark that just to see, because I just want to see. You feel like you're all the way in there or no?
I can't tell.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's get you standing and see if you're all the way in the socket. Don't worry too much about pushing through here. Let's just get out of the chair. There it goes. So nice and tall. Use your butt muscle and pull that knee straight. Yeah, there you go. Put your right leg back a little bit behind you, more like feet shoulder width apart. Oh, there you go. Better. Good. So just shift your weight back and forth. See yourself seated all the way in the socket. See if you're.
How does that height feel now?
Feels good.
Okay.
You did get in a little bit more.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Go ahead and straighten this leg for me if you can.
My
The
left one?
Left leg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Bring it forward just a little. Left leg. And then shift. There.
How's the height feel?
Still feels a little
Okay.
tall. A little tall.
So when I see you stand there, you're standing with a bent knee.
Bent
a little
knee,
bit?
yeah.
But straighten that out. Does that hurt your leg, or
Well, a little.
Yeah.
It's in the hip.
Yeah.
is that from before, or just tightness from sitting, or what do you think?
I think it's just tightness from sitting and
Yeah.
not doing it.
Yep. Not moving your joint around. You have
Right.
lubrication in your joints, and if you're not moving them, that lubrication doesn't get all the way around your joints. So we'll get you up moving and lubricate the joint a little bit more. So when you stand with the bent knee, that's just telling me that you're a little short on the
Short.
side.
Well, they also, I guess it's a habit that's formed because when you're sitting at attention, you're not supposed to lock your knees
Oh.
because you'll pass out.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So when I stand, I tend to have
Okay.
bent knees.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Cool. So I'm just looking at static alignment, a little bit posterior leaning, so we can try to dorsiflex the foot a little bit. Go ahead and face the doorway over there so I can see you. Good. Equal weight, so try to shift your weight into the socket. So just so you know, when there's weight on the knee, when you have weight going through the prosthesis,
Right.
that motor is locked.
Gotcha.
All right, so when there's weight through it, the motor is locked. All right.
Mhm.
So stand in a comfortable position for your feet, shoulder width apart for the most part.
And I still think his knee is a little stronger rotated than we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna push you over until you fall. That is more like centered straight up and down.
Okay.
That may feel like you're falling over to the right a little, right? But that's just because it's new and different. But that's where I want you to be just for now.
Baby's first steps.
How does the static alignment look from this side? Where the center of the socket is.
I wish my 18-month-old granddaughter would see me.
Okay.
Well, she got a video recording. So
Yeah.
Right?
And the socket looks a little flat, but I think we want a little flexion in it.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to having some flexion in the socket,
Yeah.
especially if he's got a little tight the hip flexor.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to that. The whole, is there a posterior lean on the knees or vertical? Knees equal weight. So we can try to do is maybe, if that's happening, maybe dorsiflex the foot a little bit.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll be throwing out all kinds of jargon, so
Hey,
we're not talking about you. We're talking around you.
Well, we are talking about it.
You're laughing about it, so that's okay.
If you have any questions, just don't hesitate. We're just talking about proper alignment based off of your weight line. We call it a weight line.
Things the instruction manual will tell you.
Well, the IFU, instructions for use, there's stuff in there about the weight line, but It doesn't get into as much detail as what we've learned over time.
Feel a little bit better.
Does it feel like it's pushing you one way or the other? Forward
No,
or back?
not now.
Okay. Before, did it feel like it's pushing you back? So we'll see based off his step length and heel strike and all that if we need to lengthen it. Because standing with that amount of knee flexion, we'll just have to see. Because that may he may take a nice long step and then it can come back to here. And then it's not long enough. And we may see that lateral lean. So we'll just see. So static alignment, we're happy with that. Then we go to dynamic alignment, make sure our angles and rotation and adduction, abduction, everything looks good. And then we'll do the auto programming or what they call auto adjustment. Go ahead and face Elden there. Good. And when you're ready, just take some steps. Keep your hands on the bars. You want the bars a little higher or is that okay?
Yeah,
A little higher.
Huh?
You go 1 or 2?
I go 2 at least.
So we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exposed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
But it almost looks level. Okay. This forge does slantward down this way. It does.
When you say 5 or 6
The
exposed?
floor is not even.
Yeah, it does slant this way a little bit. And then this bar, Elden,
Yeah.
one day we're going to have to get Matt to come in here and put some screws on this.
Oh.
Or do, because this pole
Oh,
does
yeah.
slide. So don't put your hands on
the
that.
mirror, right?
Watch your
Yeah.
hands on here.
Yeah, right into the mirror. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to break the mirror.
Yeah. So I'm going to lift your hand up off that side. I'm going to slide it just that way a little bit if you can. There you go. Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah, I know. I used to come in. I used to come in this room. It was like, oh my gosh. It's like someone's gonna walk in. I had them throw over here so I could walk around the backside of it
So-
too, as well.
With this one, I'm guessing you lead with your left foot?
Not so much anymore.
Yeah. So if you do choose to lead with your right foot, just make
Uh-huh.
sure you take that first step as an intentional
Swing out.
intentional step. Yep, intentional flicking of your thigh forward.
Mhm.
Okay? So wherever you want to start with the right or the left, it's up to you. And you'll hear the sound of the motor, the pitch will be higher or lower based off what kind of step you take. If you
Okay.
take a more quick step or an aggressive step, it's going to be like "Rrr, rrr." If you take a slower step, it's going to be like "Rrr, rrr, rrr."
Okay.
So it's kind of a feedback on what kind of step you're taking.
Okay.
Take that, yep, there you go. So you compensated there because you took that kind of a half step. You landed on a bent knee and you're like, I don't really like that. And you automatically adjusted by kicking a little bit faster, and I could hear the motor pick up.
Nice.
You got some good theme music.
That's right.
Some good walking music there. Like movie, man.
You won't catch it, but I was in the Navy.
I'm thinking that.
So step length looks okay. So we're going to have you do one more time down and back.
All right.
Just evaluate the knee position. And I would keep raising him until he was okay and you're okay with it. It's just that.
Your next 30 steps were really good.
Yeah, it looks like he's just taking too long of a step with the
Prosthetic
prosthetic a
side,
little
yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Which is
The-
Too long in the prosthetic side?
Yeah.
Take about a half step less or shorter on the prosthetic side, and
so ideally we don't really look at the floor, but having almost like your heels and your toes
Heel to
line
toe.
up when you're walking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
There you go. That's better.
yeah, it's much
It's very natural.
most amputees will take a longer step with the prosthetic side because that means they stay on their sound side longer. They can feel the ground. They're stable. And again, the prosthetic side, they take a short step because they get off of it as soon as they can. One is trust. Two, it's comfort. So we're trying to encourage you equal step length. That's all we're trying to do. Okay?
And I'm just trying to make sure that it's.
That it's out there in front of you. Absolutely.
that was much better.
Good heel play.
on it, that brace locked.
Right.
So
Is that a normal thing to? Is that something?
we
that's
want as
normal?
much extension as possible.
Okay, gotcha.
Loading
I gotcha.
response. And some of that is just his swing. Some of it
Right.
is the initial stance flexion angle is
Sure.
50%, which means it's going to be bent at about 8 to 10 degrees at heel strike.
Okay.
So we can take that nice step with the right side. So we can reduce that, and that gets a foot out in front of him a little bit.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
There you
So
go.
by
That's
being
better.
shorter on that prosthetic side, he's kind of inducing a little bit more flexion. So
Mhm.
I would try to increase him up on that prosthetic side.
I would too. Yeah.
With a quarter inch.
Walking good though on that.
Maybe we may have to
First
go
time
eight
walking
inches
on that.
longer
That's
than-
awesome.
So nice step. So the knee responds to your thigh. So the quicker you move your thigh, I'm not telling you to like whip it out there.
Right.
It's more of a twitch or a flick, especially on that first step. And then the knee is responsive to that quickness of how you're moving your thigh.
Yeah. Hasn't got a sequence yet?
So what position did you normally have with your other leg?
Probably
Did
like
you-
this.
Little-
Yeah,
little
I've always
slew
walked
footed?
like, yeah.
Slew footed? That's what they called it in Chicago. I wasn't quite sure what that meant.
Okay.
Slew footed.
That works.
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead and keep walking. So if that doesn't feel,
Rotated footed.
maybe, yeah, I mean, if that's what he's used to.
Yeah. Actually, let's try that.
So it's gonna take away a little of the
My
lever
father
arm.
would always get on me, put your toes in, put your toes in. This is I can't keep my balance that way, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm taller than you.
So we, by actually rotating, we're gonna reduce that lever arm a little bit. So again, we wanna make sure that he's staying on that toe as long as possible and using the entire real estate of that toe. So I think, go ahead and actually rotate the foot and we should adjust the height too. So when you, yep, so.
Okay, now,
Yep.
just sit down.
Yes. So right now, let me tell you a little trick, okay?
Okay.
If you stand for more than 3 seconds on the knee,
Uh-huh.
it's not gonna let you sit. And that's intentional. So you can just kind of hang out and talk or whatever and sit in your
Okay.
socket, as long as you have weight on it. So when you're ready to sit, you take weight off of it, equal weight through both legs, and then sit down into the chair. But you have to offload it first.
To the right again.
And grab the chair behind.
Ah, felt it.
Well, that's just
Right.
releasing. Nope, you just don't have any weight on it. Go ahead and stand up. Okay, lift your foot off the ground,
Yeah.
put it back down, put weight through it, and then sit. There you go.
Good. Good.
So you should feel resistance from the motor, and not
I
just.
felt resistance, but it's digging in here.
So once he has it fully done like that, then.
Yeah, it's got to be in that much more just by
Yeah.
pulling on, getting
Yeah.
down a little bit further.
So when you shifted your weight and then put weight, like try to bend it, it's going to freely bend, but it's not going to help you. So you want to put weight back on it, and then sit down, which you did that last time. That takes practice. So you're trying to figure out what the knee requires to do what it needs to do. So it's learning you, you're learning it.
Elden's gonna walk around behind you for a week and just kind of.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, just like everywhere you go, it's part of the service.
Yeah. 24-hour service.
So we'll look at this and how it affects the dynamic alignment on here by actually rotating the toe.
I'm hungry.
Go ahead and scoot forward in the chair.
Cooking.
Instead of a
There you
light
go.
LED.
And you can use the parallel bars to stand up. You can use one hand on the bars, one hand on the seat, both hands on the bars, whatever you want to do is comfortable. Just remember in your brain, shift your weight onto the prosthetic side.
Yep.
Keep your feet shoulder width apart. Shift your weight as you're coming out of the chair and drive that foot into the floor. And you can use your other hand. For now, use your other hand. Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah. Yep, so it's looking for the load and then that change in 10 degrees. Okay, we'll work on that. Let's go ahead and walk and see how that feels different. Take a little quicker thigh movement. There you go, on the right side. Get that thigh out in front of you. Nice and tall. when you come back, you're taking it, so you're lifting it up, and then your knee's kind of back, and you're taking a step down with it bent, which as long as there's weight on it, it's not going to buckle on you, but you want to take that first step, a nice long step with your right side.
Try hitting that heel.
Keep, yeah. So for lack of better words, kind of flick your foot forward.
Flick and twitch. Flick and twitch.
I try not to cue people too much because everybody's saying 10 different things at once and you're just trying to walk.
I'm thinking Harry Potter right now.
So, I mean, XD has a really nice toe lever, so he's maintaining good function of the knee, even when I should rotate it. It looks better when you're all over.
It's a big step. You can take this heel.
You kind of took a half step with your
Yeah,
right.
I did.
So either take a full step with your right or a full step with your left. There you go. Nice. That's good there. Does that feel natural or unnatural?
A little unnatural because I'm normally with my right, even though we're supposed to start with our left, but
Whatever you want to do, if you do lead with your right, just take, and you're landing with a bent knee, you just need to take a little bit quicker of a step on the first step with your right leg, if that's what you want to lead with, that's fine.
trying with the left. See.
We'll increase the height.
Turning around without these bars is a little.
Yeah. We'll work on that technique.
You're doing good, bud.
Yeah.
Well, I lived with my right that time. I'm thinking left. Of course, I have it.
Real good.
Yeah, that's better. See how much stride further your sound side stride was?
Yep.
And that makes it a little bit easier to walk through the other foot as well. There you go. Yeah. Nice.
When you come back on this pass,
Will do.
you're gonna lift or increase the height just a bit.
Turn around, square from the chair.
Square up to the
Equal weight on both feet, and then sit down. Keep weight on the knee. Push the knee forward. Go ahead and sit.
Trying to.
So unload it again. Unload the knee. Just lift it up. Push down. Put weight through it, and then sit. There you go. You felt that kind of release point?
Yep.
So right now it's default trigger of 30 newton meters, so we can probably reduce it to 25 or something. But we'll do the auto adjustment first. It'll auto adjust that. Go ahead and we'll raise it up a little bit.
Do you need me to take it off?
No, I think we can.
So Dan, is the sit and stand two different modes? Like, is it the same? Like, can you like increase the amount it goes down? And also increase the
Actually,
weight
what
and
is-
stuff?
yes.
He likes the way it goes down. Bring it down. Was it the same? Does it stand the same? Or is it?
No, it's different.
Each
So
one's different.
the power assist is the power getting out of the chair, which is 50% power right now. So if we want, if he doesn't like all of that power at one time, we can reduce it to 40% or 30%, or if he wants more power getting out of the chair, more help, we can bump that power up to 60, 70, 80, 100%. So this knee has 80 foot-pounds of torque. The previous version had 100, which is like a small Harley Davidson motorcycle. So the motor in there is a harmonic drive, and it's a gear within a gear.
Yeah.
It's used on like the Mars rover wheels, robotic arms, on satellites and assembly lines and all that. It used to be all hydraulics. Right now it's a harmonic drive, it's a gear. But it can produce 80 foot-pounds of torque. But technically it can lift you out of the chair just with that leg, technically. So we can adjust that power, and that's separate from the resistance going down.
Okay.
Like I mentioned to you last night, once you hit that, once you go to sit, so when you're trying to take your finger inside the socket and push it against the front, so you want to keep weight on the leg and push your knee forward, and that flexion, that bending, creates a moment or torque around the knee, and then you hit that resistance. Just sustain that. Keep pushing through that resistance that you feel, and the knee will be like, oh, you want to sit? I'll let you sit down, kind of thing.
But it's assisting him sitting down. It's not just releasing.
Right.
Yeah, it's not gonna buckle.
Yeah, that's
You almost have to,
Continue.
I like to say, write it down.
Write it down, you know.
Write the thing down.
It's kind of, I was describing to him last night, it's like downshifting in your transmission, and it's just like, the motor's lowering you down, like going down a mountain, kind of a thing, so.
Can you feel that when you're going down, like there's resistance? Like, would you want more?
Don't know yet.
Don't know yet. Okay.
So when you were sitting just now,
I don't know if you can.
did you feel like it was pushing against you, or like it was gonna let you?
It didn't make me feel like it was gonna drop. I was kind of trying to ride it down.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if he was feeling it. I know it's scared he's gonna fall down.
Possibly.
You know?
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
he doesn't know what the knee is gonna do, he's trying to figure out what the knee is
Yeah.
happening, and he's new to the knee, and so we can just,
It's a learning curve.
yeah, the learning curve to a certain extent. How is this area here? When you're
That's
sitting?
feeling pretty good. When I sit down now, the front edge kind of digs a little bit, but it's fine right at the moment.
If you were to try to bend over and like tie your shoes. Okay.
Well, it's the top part's stopping me.
Yeah.
Why that, we're gonna roll that top, the inner liner, roll it a little bit.
Sure. Okay. Let's have you, so you just lengthen just a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, good. I'm going to scoot out towards the edge of the chair. Good. All right. So, notice, you don't want to sit all the way where you feel like you're going to fall off the chair. So you can scoot back just a little if you feel like. Okay, good.
Just keep the socket off the chair.
Yeah. It's more about you being able to take your thigh inside the socket and push that foot into the floor, driving that foot into the floor while you're coming forward out of the chair. Okay? So I'm going to hang on to this because it was sliding before. Let's actually bring it forward a little bit.
Oh, there we go.
Sometimes if we make a distraction and they move, then the power's on. So that's exactly right. So you kind of pulled yourself up like that. You had enough weight on it, and you changed 10 degrees off the seat, and it powered you up. So sometimes we overthink it a little bit. So go ahead and stand nice and tall. All right. Take your knee and pull your knee straight by pulling your leg back in the socket. There you go. You feel any stretching up in
Yeah,
front?
up here.
So we may have to accommodate for some track. I mean, we could leave it, and by leaving it, we could work on
Stretch
it
it.
and stretch it.
I tend to do that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you accommodate the contraction,
Right.
it's
So because you've been sitting, the hip flexors got tight. So when you go to stand up, it's really keeping you from getting fully extended. So we want to encourage you to keep that stretched. Because if you just keep accommodating for the contracture, you have to keep moving the socket forward, and the knee stays behind you, and it's just not as functional. So as best you can, keep stretching that hip flexor muscle out. Use your butt muscle to pull the knee straight. So whenever you have weight on your prosthesis, you should be firing that butt muscle and trying to pull that knee back. Okay? That's just what we normally do when we're walking. We're walking with your left leg, and you take that step, right now your butt muscle is firing. The quad muscle is helping keep the knee from bending on the left side. We're trying to mimic normal gait.
How did Steve Austin do this 50 years ago?
You know all the show.
No.
Steve Austin.
Well, when Elden first told me about this and I saw it, I'm thinking, we can rebuild him. We have the technology.
All right, we'll take some steps and just see how that height changed.
Oh,
Should you take that nice first step? There you go. Better. One thing we can try to do, like Bob Gailey talks about, is providing a resistance over the ASIS.
no.
That helps him drive that side through. So when you turn, when you go to turn around the bars, coming down here, you're turning around. So instead of just pivoting on here, when you pivot, the knee bends like this. It's just following you naturally. And then you take that step, you're on the other bent knee.
Gotcha.
So when you turn, to prevent all the shear going through your joints on the left side, do a little side stepping and a circle, and then take a step back instead of like spinning like this.
Okay.
We're changing some habits. I know you may be used to just spinning around one way, or maybe we teach you to turn the other direction, but the idea is to just shift your weight onto it and then go back the other direction.
I
What's
can't
going through
think
your
of the
mind?
actor's name right now, but that's a little Horn House in Texas. I like to do a little side step.
I haven't seen that movie for a while. Sally Parton?
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds.
More files and yours.
When you take that knee extended out, it will stay in that extended knee position. Come around. So it'll do that kind of extension lock. If you want to step over a log or step over something, it'll let you do that by when you go, extend it out, it'll stay straight. Until you put it on the floor, and then it'll release. What do you have at home that you're walking with?
I have walker and crutches. I use the walker to go from my chair to the restroom and back. I have to use the crutches to get up into the kitchen because where I sleep in my easy chair, God love him, my brother is fantastic. He's let me live with him now for 6 years since the wife threw me out of the house. But downstairs, from here to the door, I have access to a shower, bathroom. Okay.
Gotcha.
But when I go up to the kitchen, I gotta go up 2 steps.
Okay.
So I use the crutches for that. And then, actually it's 3 steps. And then when I go out of the house, I transfer the crutches, I take the crutches all the way out of the vehicle. But anywhere else, I take the wheelchair, not the walker. Because you only need length of a walker.
Yeah, I would, if you can get a 4-wheeled walker versus the 2-wheeled walker, because the 2-wheeled walker really just like encourages this and it's kind of narrow.
Yeah.
4-wheeled walker has the brakes and it can help you stay more upright and walk more
do that.
fluidly. I think even like American Legions and Moose Lodges and Elk Lodges and stuff, you can rent some of that stuff until you can buy one, or you can get one through insurance or whatever. But we just find that to be better. And then eventually from there, maybe trekking poles or 2 canes or something like that. That depends on therapy, right? On that, what that progression looks like. Yeah. The only thing I'm seeing is when you're taking that step with the right side, and putting your foot down, is engaging your butt muscle to pull that knee back and pull your leg back in the socket to hold that knee straight. Because once that knee is, when you pull back, that knee is locked, you have weight on it, it's not going to go anywhere. Once that heel, even right before the heel touches the ground, or as the heel's touching the ground, you're tightening that butt muscle, right? Yep. And you're pulling back on the knee, pulling back in the socket.
That makes,
Okay?
that works. No, side
Pull
step.
back, yep. So usually, when you're walking and turning, you're just kind of like riding into the knee, but you have to do some work too here to keep that knee straight. Okay?
Okay.
It does a lot of work for you, but you still need to do some work.
Yeah, because you can't feel the leg. There's no sensors that go to your brain.
Yep. Yeah. Pull back. There you go. I'm just going to say pull back when you should be pulling back.
Okay. That's fine. Okay, lift foot.
Pull back. Yep. Whenever that foot's on the ground and you're moving forward, you pull back on that knee, pull back and stop it. It's better.
Good.
And you by just naturally there, you took one hand off the bars because you felt more stable. Right? So let's keep doing that. So even though you landed on a bad knee, you still pulled back and straightened the knee out.
Yep.
So that some of that therapy, like that kind of cueing, happens in physical therapy when, like, if you had a previous knee.
Right.
So we're just coaching you from the start, right from the get-go. And so that's what therapy would be helping you focus on, is engaging that hip muscle, the butt muscle, which is a hip extensor. You're extending your hip, flexing your hip, extending your hip. So when that foot's on the ground, you're pulling back using your butt muscle. And you do that by pulling back in the socket. Yep.
Good. Good.
Yeah, I had it.
Shovel. I almost feel like when you took your hand off, your gait was a bit more fluid.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Try with just
this
left
hand.
Yep.
Pull back, yep. Good. Pull back, nice. Pull back, yep. Nice.
Good.
I mean, ideally, you want to get to not using bars and all that kind of stuff. but
Yep.
Baby steps, right?
Yep.
So even walking with one hand is a big step.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking of cane now.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking.
But still use your muscles. Still.
Pull back.
Pull back
You
and
gotta be
socket.
conscious. You can't put it in automatic like you used to be able to do.
It'll eventually become muscle memory.
Yes.
Because we're simply retraining the body to do what it was doing before.
Yep.
And you'll get there. I mean, you're getting there.
That's why I woke up last night with a neurotic pain in my right foot. And I went back. Not there. Rubbed the nub.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the brain doesn't know the foot's not there.
Right.
Your eyes see that it's not there, but the brain, it wasn't disconnected up here.
Right.
It still thinks you have a foot.
Okay.
So even on that first step, if you're equal weight and you're ready to take a step and you're going to take a step forward, again, pulling back
Yep.
and taking that step forward,
Yep.
driving
That's
forward
what I'm
on that
doing.
leg. Pull, drive.
Pull back.
Think you're digging that
Pull
toe
back.
into the sand.
Good.
Dig it in there.
Good.
Pull back.
So that was more of just kind of a half
Yeah.
step here
When
instead
you're-
of a full step.
Did you ever, because when you get here, you're kind of stubbing that toe?
Yep.
Did you ever run at all on your track?
No.
So-
I hate the worst exercise in the world. I mean, I'd rather play basketball
Sure.
that I didn't play when you're so tall, no coordination. I'd rather play basketball than run.
Gotcha. I was just gonna say, keep driving through when you get to the end,
Uh-huh.
because I think you're kind of slowing down and catching
Anticipating the end of the
Yeah.
bars and having to turn around.
Still take a full step at the
Yeah.
end there.
Yeah.
And as you're saying, is driving through. There's different things that we tell patients when they're pulling back and they're driving forward. Like we say, like if you're imagine walking in the sand and you're pushing forward, like you're kicking up sand behind you,
Right?
like driving into that toe and pushing yourself forward. Just maybe think of that analogy as just driving forward through your toe on the right side.
Okay. Pull back. Pull back.
Good.
So I'm going to have you take a slightly longer step on your left side.
On my left side. Okay.
Pull back.
Pull back.
Nice. Nice.
And walk right through.
Pull back.
You did a half step, which, you know, we'll work on
See,
that.
that's why I got this now, because now we're twins.
Right.
Both wear glasses, both have beards and
That's right.
mustache.
You got your side steps on.
Oh my gosh.
Now you see me, now you don't. I've come and gone.
Oops. So when you took that step, when you're kind of turning around,
Yep.
keep engaging that butt muscle, pulling
Up
it
front,
back,
up front.
and shifting your weight onto the prosthesis. Because you're kind of like off of it, and still
Yeah.
getting weight here. Again, this is just practice, and you're learning. And so that's what therapy is for, that's what this walking is for, so. Pull back. Pull back. Good. That looked good. That was a good last
I hear it. I could hear it.
Yep.
The
The sounds
pitch,
were
yeah.
equal.
The longer step on the left. The longer on the right that time.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Yep. Pull back on that, and
Pull
it
back.
locks.
Yeah, because if you don't pull back, you just let the knee come forward. It feels like it's going to buckle, but then you have weight on it and it locks. But you don't want to be in that position for very long, right? So.
What amazes me, and when I met Ty last month, is how he can do the side step,
Mhm.
and I'm like, wow, Am I gonna be able
You'll
to do
get there,
that?
so you'll get there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, face the bars here.
Do what?
Face the bars.
Oh,
if you're
face the
looking
bars,
out the window.
okay.
So what I want you to do now is sidestep to the right like you're stepping over your dog. But lift your thigh up and over. Yep, we'll do that again.
Pull back,
Yep.
pull back.
Lift up and over. To the knee. Like you're gonna step over.
Nice.
Isn't that pretty cool?
That is cool. That is cool.
Nice. Okay. Nice and tall.
A little bit.
So that's kind of a fun thing to show
Yeah.
if you need to sidestep over. So pull back, pull back.
Pull back. There we go.
I think you got it in stair ascent mode.
Behave.
Oh. Yeah.
Because in stair ascent, you approach the stair,
And-
it's looking for a change of elevation,
Yep.
Right.
whether it's down or up,
Right.
3 inches.
Mhm.
And then it's looking for an extension moment. And
Yeah.
he did that, he stepped back,
Yeah.
and then he went, that's stair ascent mode.
Yeah.
So you can do stair ascent
So to
mode.
see when you're ready for it.
Yeah. So for him, I would probably turn stair ascent off for now. Pull back in the socket.
Yep.
Pull back.
Whoa.
I'm trying to make it really hard for you to.
I thought Matt was gonna go grab Red.
That's kind of a long. That's just a fun thing to show if you're stepping over the top of something.
And it's gonna happen.
Yeah. So the main thing is just when your heel's on the ground, you're just pulling back in the socket.
I'm gonna be able to stand at the bar today and drink with my buddy.
There you go.
Just for the sake of experimenting a little bit more on the height,
Mhm.
bump him up a little bit more.
Yeah. No. Your gait looks more fluid.
Okay.
Because if you're shorter on that side, it's almost like you're stepping in a hole. and
Right.
It's kind of forcing you to land on a bent knee.
Right.
So let's raise the height a little bit.
Quarter inch.
We can run auto adjustment and see, and then make some settings and changes.
All right. Lead with the right, pull back.
That was good.
Pull back,
So get your foot underneath you.
pull back. And then
Square up.
square up,
Square up. Yep. Weight down.
square up,
Sit
weight
down.
down.
Yeah, push the knee forward. Push, 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 push. Okay,
It's locked. It's
Then
locked.
shift your weight. Put knee down. There you go.
Here we go.
You did it. You released it.
Look at that.
Nice. That's just a nuance. It's just positioning. Also, we're going to reduce the amount of push that you need to do to get the knee to go into sitting. So let's just raise them up a little bit if we can.
You need to take it off?
Nope. And if you, I think I have, I don't know if you guys have them here, the adjustable pylons, you can do that, or if you want to do something else. It helps.
Okay, what's next?
We're going to, he raised it up a little bit more, because ideally, to have your pelvis level is ideal.
Right.
All right? So,
Don't worry about it.
span. So, again, think about getting out of the chair. So it's forward in the chair, equal weight through your legs, kind of equal base of support. So
Yep.
get your left foot out a little bit wider.
Yeah.
And you can use the bars again.
Look,
or,
I'm sorry.
You're fine. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, hold on.
so one thing I can show you
Okay.
as a trick is you can use the back of the knee here to push up to stand up.
Yeah.
That will help induce weight to the knee, and then just the motion activates it. The thing is, do
Keep my
not-
fingers out.
Yes, because you will get pinched here,
Ooh,
and
no.
it's not fun.
No.
So as long as you keep your hand behind here,
Right.
it's all good.
Inside there, like
Okay.
a yellow
All right. And you use your momentum, like try to get a forward roll going.
Oh, there we go.
Just longer.
Boy, that took a lot. Okay.
Remember,
First.
remember using your butt. Pull
Back,
back in the
yep.
socket. Yep. Pull back.
Pull back.
Longer step on the left. Okay. Do your little special turn. Make sure you're getting your weight. Yep. Pulling back. Pulling back. We've been working with him on engaging his extensors.
Okay.
Wasn't doing that because he hasn't been told that he needs to.
Sure, sure.
So once we do that, little right, shorten the right, lengthen the left.
Lengthen the left, shorten the right.
Which he does the opposite.
Right.
We'll just work on that.
Yeah.
He was looking in the mirror.
That's
You
normal.
got that
though.
right.
That's a normal thing
It's
to
the
do.
opposite way he looks in the mirror. That's why he's doing it.
I'm trying to look this way, not down this way.
That's a good point.
So what's the recommended knee? rotation, external rotation on this?
Yeah, that's up to 5.
Okay.
It may be a little extra rotated.
I was gonna say, it looked like it was a
A
little
little
more
more,
rotated.
and we brought it in a little, but I think it's going to be a tad more.
Yeah, I think so too, yeah. Just looking at when he's standing there,
Yeah,
looks like his hips go this way a little bit.
We should do that before we do the auto adjustment. How does that feel?
He's walking
Different?
Yeah, it feels more natural.
Good.
So, I mean, the more we can get him level, the better.
Yeah.
And again, he'll probably feel it.
You know, we might get back
Yes.
to where we
I don't feel
started.
like I'm doing this.
No,
Yeah.
you're doing a lot better.
Yeah.
Just whatever you've been working on, just a short period of
I'm
time.
going to provide a little resistance against your hip.
Okay.
Don't let me push you back. You
All right.
drive through me.
Drive through you, okay?
So take your steps normal. Drive through, push, push. Push, push.
There you go.
So it kind of forces you, like here, it forces you to pull back and
Mhm.
push forward. So also makes you take better steps.
Yeah, it helps you make better steps for sure. He's doing good.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys, what did you do to change? Just walking on it?
Walk in, extensors, raise the height.
Okay. Oh, you did raise the height?
Yeah.
Good.
Education.
Yeah.
We haven't done
They,
any.
they had the whips out when we were.
I gotcha.
We almost brought the cat front out there. We're like, yeah, we'll get it
Drive
back.
your hip forward.
There you go.
It's just another way of basically saying, push yourself forward.
Mm-hmm.
So shorten that
Slowly
step on the
shorten
right.
it.
Yep.
Short and which one?
The
On
right.
the right.
Right. Yep. So it's gonna be longer for
I
Ben.
like the or the motor activation. That sounds good, but you're taking a little longer step on the right.
Okay.
Maybe think about not the right side, but think about just extending your left leg. Not extending, but stepping further with your left leg.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about the right leg. Let's
I
just
thought
say
this-
take a longer step with the left.
I thought that's what I was doing. And you
I know,
said
but
I'm confused.
I'm trying not to confuse you.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't take much.
Left. Left longer. There you go. That's better. So just take that nice full step at the end as well. Even if you take like a short step at the end, but you take a quick step, the knee will come out straight. You don't have to take a full length step for the knee to get straight at the end of the bars. If you're coming to the end of the bars and you're like, oh, I need to slow down. Well, when you slow down your thigh, the knee doesn't activate as much because it knows you're slowing down. So if you even take a little quick step, if you know you're coming to an end to a stop, you can just flick your thigh out a little quicker and the knee will get out there quicker for you. Okay?
Longer with the left.
That looks better.
Yep. Really good.
There you go.
Yep. Good.
Perfect.
Good. Good job.
How many mirrors do you have in your house?
How many what?
Mirrors.
None. Except the bathroom.
You get some hanging door ones.
Right.
One-handed, nice.
Nice. Very good.
That was good.
So let's change the rotation of the knee a little bit. It still looks up.
Yeah, let's add a little bit.
Just bring it in and then we'll do auto adjustment.
All right, square up to the chair.
Yeah, let's bring the chair forward. Square to the
Square
chair.
up to the chair.
Equal weight
Equal weight.
and push forward with the knee.
Push.
There you go, flexing your socket. So shift your weight off. Just
That's right, it's locked.
Yep, put the weight on. Yep, push forward.
There we go.
There it is.
Ah,
That feel
look
too
at
slow?
that.
No-handed, nice. Does that feel too slow?
No,
Okay.
no.
Quick study.
Yep.
Yeah. that helps.
Nice. Now, when you get home and you have the wheelchair, make sure you grab the chair when you go to sit down, just so it doesn't flip out.
Yeah.
Did it add it again?
Well, that's good that you admit. Yeah, I'm gonna move on, right?
Yep. And they did, and they were fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And especially when you're lying there and the nurses tell you there's no modesty in a hospital. Because I try to keep things covered up and stuff. And as I'm standing here, we're doing this, and my junction in your face, you know.
So just remember, equal weight, push through the knee, watch your fingers if you're going to use that mode or that method to get up.
I'm going to try it without it first. Let's see. Push with the knee. No.
Good, and use the chair, because you're more likely to have a chair with an arm on it.
Yeah.
So go scoot back just a little bit, okay? You can use your left arm on the armrest. You can use both on the armrest is fine. It's just now your weight's going to be vertical, or it's going to push you back.
Yeah.
So getting your weight forward, like pushing yourself forward off the chair, and that's just you getting used to, like, okay, where am I going to go?
Yeah.
Where's the knee going to put me, right? That just takes practice. So we're going to have a couple walks here, check the alignment,
Okay.
and then we'll do auto adjustment, which is just the programming.
And then we check the tread and the iron the tire.
Rotate, yep. Grease the dirt.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
I think when we reduce that stance flexion angle, we get more extension, that'll move that.
More extension on the right leg?
No, I'm just,
No,
no, listen to me.
Yeah, we're just.
You're
Take it
talking,
out.
okay.
Don't worry, Dan, no one does it.
Yeah, nobody does this anyway. Let's go into initial setup. So you need to take about 15 good steps.
Okay.
Okay? So it's probably going to be about 4 strides up and down for the most
Right.
part. The knee is going to read how you walk, and then this is going to auto set parameters, like the resistance sitting down, how much bend you need to put at the knee to let the knee release into sitting, those kinds of
From
things.
this page, how do we get to initial setup?
Settings,
Okay.
and initial setup. You can go through that, continue. Start, and then before you hit start again, just let him know that when I say go. And what's your weight? What's your weight?
About 200?
200, what was your weight?
Last time it was measured, it was 200
Without the prosthesis?
without the prosthesis. Yep, I lost 25 pounds in 45 minutes.
Start doing it commercial, huh? So when you tell them it's good to go, then go ahead. All right, go ahead and walk.
Before and after.
Go ahead.
Go.
Long step with that left leg. Nice, better. Nice. Go again. Keep going.
All right.
Pull back, there you go. Pull back, nice. That was a good job shifting your weight under the knee when you turn there. It was good. Let's do 2 hands and just keep your right hand.
Okay.
If you want to float your right hand, that's fine.
All right.
And weight to your left. Better. Should deepen this noise, vibrate instead of. Maybe one more time down the back.
Good.
So, when taking that right step, you're taking a wide step out to here and kind of coming across like this. And we're going to just come over shift your weight onto the prosthesis, which is not normal, natural. And that you have to trust it. But if you're staying off of it like that, you're kind of just pivoting around the foot.
Gotcha.
And we need you to come over the top of the foot.
Okay.
Okay. What's the settings here? That's default 60. So I'm just going to drop this down to, just so it gets me forward a little bit quicker. And I'm going to swing initiation, take that down to 80. It's just the release point of the knee. And just like the Reno voice tells you where you were previously. And stance flexion angle, take that down to 5%. That's what gets the knee at more full extension.
So he's got 50% stance flexion?
Yeah, which is like 8 to 10 degrees of
Yeah.
reflection at
Gotcha.
1 10.
I gotcha.
So now the knee's going to kick out further.
Gotcha.
You may like that better.
He might, yeah, he might.
sit down trigger's 25, so it went from default at 30 down to 25 based off the stance flexion that he was reading. When he
It
was walking.
recognizes that?
Yep. The yielding resistance went from 50 to 38. He may not want it that easy to sit down, so we may manually bump that back up. For him, stair ascent, go ahead and.
Is there a setting where I can kick somebody in the butt by hand?
Yeah, you just whip
just
it out
lift it
right. Yeah. Just like you did. Just like you did. All right, let's take a few steps and see what you feel different. So now you're standing. There we go. You're standing with kind of a bent knee because when you turned around, you did this versus shifting your weight. Okay, so when you spin, the knee is just going to do this, and to get the load through the knee that it needs is very difficult like this. So it's not going to be locked.
Right.
Okay. So.
All right.
Again, getting that more symmetrical step-link surface to work on that, but the knee looks like it's actually getting out further.
I think so too, yeah. That looks better to me. Whoa.
Yeah, that was a big one.
That's running mode there.
Let me reduce it.
So one of the things that we did there is when the knee, right before your heel hits the ground, the knee was pre-bent a little bit.
Uh-huh.
We changed it so where the knee was more straight.
Okay.
When your heel hits the ground. You don't have to do anything different, just walk. Again, just strength, activation of the hip. You just kind of doing one of these. Go ahead and reach out. It's like, how do you use the right word without not encouraging, like, reach out? Right? So like on the Rio, when you see drifting, or when he's taking that stance where he wants to do this, that's usually a hip flexor, and you have an accommodate for the contracture. He doesn't have a big one, we want to work it out. So just knowing that when you stand in a relaxed position, that knee wants to bend, that's your natural position, because your hip is tight. Just know that you need to engage and pull back before you take that step. Because if you just put weight on it in a bent position, it'll still be locked, but you're going to be in this bent knee, and you're like, that it doesn't feel right.
Right.
Does that feel same, better, different than before?
About the same.
Okay. It's kind of like the eye doctor, right? Is this better or is this better?
One.
Can I see that again?
Yeah. So you're switching settings, like jumping like 10 to 20% of the time instead of 2%. It's different with like the heel rise. 2 degrees is a big deal.
Right.
But
You know, I'm also thinking once he's got that balance and gait training for things like that,
Yes.
where he's shifting the weight more,
Yes.
fully under the
Definitely,
he's
yes.
gonna. I mean, he's done this without any like maybe gait training.
Right.
the one thing you can do, it's hard to see you walking from the side, so videotaping you from the side.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to videotape it from the side, videotape.
You've got a bunch.
The old school VHS. You may got a VHS recorder around here.
They got
So
Is that a big Super 8
so you can send him that video of him walking from the side so he kind of understands what we're talking about, step length. So just so he can see himself. Because sometimes, obviously, we're telling him like this.
Yeah, I showed him a video.
Safety net.
That's the first time I've done that. That's the weirdest thing, yeah.
Might help if I hit record.
Yeah, hit record.
So you're already kind of like changing, because that first step was good. Second step, you kind of hit your heel, because you're just not activating your hip flexor as much. And that third step, you compensated and lifted your hip more. You came through without hitting your heel. So
It's
you're-
almost like the
you're
second
already-
step, huh? It's
Every
every other
time.
step. Yeah.
Huh.
Every
It's
time
just
the
timing.
second one is the middle.
Yeah.
Good.
You are coachable.
Burning has occurred.
Nice.
That was a little short.
Yep. At least you recognize it.
Right.
You're feeling it, you're recognizing it, and you're changing your.
Yeah. really top here.
So yeah, that when you stopped and went to turn, your foot was way out here and kind
Yeah,
of bent. So
that's
keeping
right.
that back underneath you more shoulder width apart is going to be more stable for you.
But she's the one that's
When did you say you had to leave?
pretty much kind of working with her.
In about 20 minutes.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you had to leave at 11:30 or before. You had
No,
to do
just
that.
before 11:30, because I
Okay.
gotta call my brother, he's gotta come back down and pick me up.
Okay.
Then I gotta go get my son
Okay.
by noon time.
Overall, looks pretty good.
I think it's looking better.
My grandchildren are gonna love this thing.
So you come back, square up to the chair, equal weight, sit down into the chair. Good. Equal weight. Put your foot's out in front of you. Get your feet. There you go. Better. Now sit. Push, 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 push.
There we go.
It's a sustained flexion.
Nice. I love this. Nice.
Very nice.
But that, I mean, I know as far as getting you to that position, but reaching that threshold, does that
Yes.
seem easier?
Yes, it
Because
did.
it dropped from 30 down to what, 25 or whatever?
25.
After the auto
Yeah,
adjustment?
25. Yeah.
So, and that's fine. I mean, technically, we could probably take him down to 22 or something like that. But we don't want to encourage him to,
Fall into the chair.
yeah, to have bad habits in order to push through that. Like if it makes it easier, but he's not doing it with good balance and support.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have him square up,
Right.
focus on the actual technique, and then, okay, reach that threshold and sit there.
Cool.
And then let's just practice just sitting and standing a couple times.
Back.
Square up to the chair,
Sure.
that foot underneath you. Yep.
Nice, no,
We're disconnected there. So you've been standing for more than 3 seconds, it won't
Yep.
release. So yep, and then push forward the knee.
Here we go.
And that's it. That was a complete release on that one. But again, that takes a little practice. Let me get in front of you here. Then stand up again. Does that feel okay in that position, or do you feel like you're gonna fall out of the chair?
No, this position's fine.
Let's get more of a flat foot.
Quick question, Dan.
Yeah.
We want auto connect on this, don't we?
For him, that'd be auto connect for him. But I mean, because if he shows up in your office, that's gonna automatically connect to Bluetooth. It's more for the patient. So.
Okay.
Yep. There you go. Nice. Looks better. So another thing you can do for getting it back up all the way to the chair, yep, and then sit down.
Yep.
I'm going to scale things on the bottom.
Right, reset.
Yep,
There you
reset.
go.
Remember to reset. There we go.
Nice. So one thing you can do to help yourself is you back up all the way. Let me see your chair. So to help the knee release, you back up to the chair all the way with your knee, and then sit down because the knee is now blocked against here and you have nowhere to go with back.
Right.
And we need the knee to bend
Right.
for you to sit down. So you can use the chair as a helper to do that. Ideally, you square up to the chair and you're using your femur inside your socket to push forward. A lot of people want to take weight off of it, then it bends freely, but now it's not helping.
Right.
Okay? Another way to make it a little easier to sit down is take that quarter step forward, keep your weight on it, and bend down and sit down.
Gotcha.
It's just easier to help the knee bend. It's really just technique. You don't have to muscle through it. So after a while, you're just like, oh, I just need to do this. It's so subtle. Go ahead and stand up again for me. Position your foot usually flat on the floor. Better. Back up to the chair. Yep, and sit down. Go ahead and commit and sit. So you,
No.
okay. Push forward.
Here we go.
You're kind of rolling on the toe, which then takes the load off of it, which lets the knee bend but doesn't provide resistance. Let's do that again.
So you don't want to roll onto the toe to get the knee to bend. You want to kind of just go down on it.
Yeah, I want him to maintain foot flat,
Okay.
basically, so
All right,
back up.
gotcha.
And